Speak greater than Chapter 1. Intro: Why We Delay. Procrastination. Just hearing the word might make your stomach twist a little. It's that familiar feeling of knowing you should be doing something. Finishing that assignment, replying to that email, cleaning the kitchen. But somehow you're scrolling through your phone, organizing your pens or watching videos about productivity instead of being productive. Why do we delay the things we know are important?
It's easy to think procrastination is simply about being lazy, but in reality, procrastination is often about something deeper: discomfort. When a task feels overwhelming, boring, uncertain, or stressful, our brains look for ways to protect us, and one way they do that is by avoiding the task altogether.
Avoidance gives temporary relief. You don't have to face the discomfort right now, but it's like borrowing happiness from your future self. Because tomorrow, the task will still be there, and now you have less time to do it.
In this podcast, we're going to unpack procrastination like never before. We'll explore what it really is, why it happens, and most importantly, how to deal with it in real life.
Let's start by acknowledging something important. If you procrastinate, you're not broken. You're not a failure. You're human. And you're definitely not alone. Millions of people around the world struggle with procrastination every single day. It's not just students or freelancers, it affects CEOs, artists, doctors, parents, and everyone in between.
Think about this. Have you ever delayed something for so long that it became a source of shame? Maybe a message you didn't reply to for weeks, or a project that kept getting pushed to tomorrow. Over time, the delay becomes heavier, not just a task, a weight. That weight can affect our mental health. Procrastination often brings guilt, anxiety, and self-criticism. It can make us question our abilities, our motivation, and even our worth.
But here's the truth. Procrastination isn't a moral failing. It's a behavior, a habit. And like any habit, it can be changed. Throughout this episode and the ones to come, we'll look at the science of procrastination. What's going on in your brain? Different types of procrastinators. Yes, there's more than one. Why some tasks trigger avoidance more than others. Tools and techniques to break the cycle. Real stories from real people. And small changes that lead to big results.
By the end, you'll have a better understanding of your own habits and a clear path forward. So take a deep breath. This isn't about shaming yourself. This is about getting curious, getting honest, and making progress.
Ready to start. Let's go.
Speak greater than Chapter 2. What is procrastination really? Let's start with a simple question. What is procrastination? Procrastination is the act of delaying or postponing tasks, especially those that are important or necessary. It's when you know you have something to do, and yet you put it off. Sometimes for minutes, sometimes for hours, sometimes for weeks or even months. But here's the thing. Procrastination is not just being lazy. In fact, many people who procrastinate are hardworking and capable. They're just stuck in a cycle of avoidance, and that cycle can be surprisingly complex. At its core, procrastination is a coping mechanism. It helps us avoid unpleasant emotions, fear, boredom, self-doubt, stress. For example, if you're afraid you won't do a task perfectly, your brain might protect you from that fear by making you clean your room instead. Cleaning feels productive, but it's actually a way of avoiding the thing that matters most. This is why procrastination is not about time management. It's about emotional management. Researchers define procrastination as a voluntary delay of an intended course of action despite expecting to be worse off for the delay. In other words, you choose to delay something even though you know it will probably cause problems later. That's the strange paradox of procrastination. We often know exactly what we're doing, and yet we do it anyway. Now let's talk about what procrastination is not. Procrastination is not the same as rest. Taking a break, relaxing, or giving yourself downtime is healthy and important. Procrastination, on the other hand, often doesn't feel good. It's not relaxing, it's stressful. You're not truly resting because the task is still in your mind, creating pressure and guilt.
Procrastination is also not the same as laziness. Laziness means you don't want to work or exert effort. But procrastinators often want to do the task. They just can't seem to start. That's a key difference. There's also a difference between strategic delay and procrastination. Strategic delay is when you choose to wait because there's a reason. Maybe you're waiting on more information or timing it better. That's planning. But procrastination is when you delay without a good reason, even when it hurts you.
Let's look at an example.
Imagine you have an important report due on Friday. It's Monday, and you tell yourself, I have time. On Tuesday, you feel a bit stressed, so you clean your apartment instead. On Wednesday, you tell yourself you'll start after lunch, but somehow it's bedtime. On Thursday, panic sets in. You stay up all night working, you finish it barely. That's procrastination.
It's a cycle that repeats: delay, distraction, guilt, panic, relief. And then the next task begins and the pattern starts again. But why does this happen? Our brains are wired to seek comfort and avoid pain. Tasks that feel hard, confusing, or emotionally uncomfortable, like starting a big project, having a tough conversation, or facing possible failure, activate discomfort, and your brain says, let's not.
Procrastination is the brain choosing short-term mood repair over long-term goals. It feels better in the moment to do something easy, fun, or irrelevant than to face the hard thing, even if that choice makes life harder later.
The good news? Understanding procrastination helps you take back control. When you recognize that you're not lazy but reacting to discomfort, you can respond differently. You can build awareness. You can create habits. You can start small. In the next chapters, we'll go deeper into the brain science behind procrastination and learn what's really going on inside your head when you delay.
For now, remember this. Procrastination is not a character flaw. It's a learned behavior, and anything learned can be unlearned.
Let's keep going.